Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame. Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. I really do appreciate those of you who've been hanging in there with me. There have been a lot of developments, a lot of things have been going on, and that's why I haven't posted. So yeah, y'all, I really do apologize for that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this recap review of the last episode of Family or Fiance. The newest episode will be coming on sooner than later. But yeah, I apologize yet again. So this episode is about the couple, Charles and Whitney. Whitney was apparently stalking him, as she likes to call it, because she was all in his DMs and straight up told him, "You're gonna be my man. Like I'm gonna make you my boyfriend." And it actually ended up happening. He actually proposed to her, 9 months ago. And in all actuality, this is his first real relationship. Like, this is literally his first relationship. I don't think this is her first. But yeah, they kept making a point to say that this was his first relationship. So that's very, very important information for everyone to know. Y'all, they are gonna come in and see if they're gonna get everybody's blessings, but in all honesty, Whitney does not think that that is going to happen. A lot of people feel as though they are moving too fast, even though they have literally been together for 6 years. And just mainly the people who are coming on his side, they just feel like they're moving too fast and that he shouldn't deem this to be the be-all, end-all relationship for him, because this is literally his first relationship. Everybody thought that, oh, well, this is going to be his one and done and move on to something else, because normally what tends to happen is that you get with somebody and that was just the first person you were with and you move on to somebody else and whatever. And in a lot of cases, I've actually seen people who got with whoever they got with first that actually was the person that they were meant to be with, and it was long lasting, and it was amazing. Oh, excuse me, and it was an amazing relationship. So yeah, for whatever reason, his sister does not get along with Whitney. They're gonna get down to the bottom of why, so to speak. But yeah, I was just like, well, dang, why they don't get along? Like, that's just like the big elephant in the room. She is not here for her. And I'm like, why? Y'all, so anyway, they have a lot in common, being that they've both lost parents. They've both lost parents. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied tonight. He lost his mother at a young age, and she lost her father at a young age. And for whatever reason, her mother gave her up. And we find out later on the episode as to why her mother says it happened. And I think she eventually kind of slips up and says the real reason. And I'm like, girl, you could have said it to begin with. But I digress. Y'all, so anyway, they just feel as though they can speak and just have a great communication on a deeper level, because they understand, you know, what it's like to lose a parent. Like, that is a very major loss, especially when you were close to them. Y'all, so the people who are coming are, on her side, her mama is coming and 2 of her aunts. And on his side, his sister is coming, one of his really close friends, and one of his cousins, male cousins. And the tasks are for him to go to this dancing class with her folks. It's supposed to be first dance, last chance. And it's going to be kind of like an opportunity for him to get some dancing lessons in, you know, possibly some stuff that he can use for the wedding if they make it to that point. And for her, she is supposed to be doing a task where, you know, people get to just ask what they want to ask away. Because, and definitely, hopefully get down to why the sister does not like her. Woo child, the relationship with her mama. Off rip, when the mama came in the door, like, there was no hug. And so she was like, oh, Mom, I was trying to give you a hug. She was like, well, I tried. She was like, well, I was trying to close the door first. That's what the daughter said. Y'all, I was just like, ooh, Lord, okay, this is too much already for me. I mean, like, everybody else seemed to be cool, cordial, and all that. So I'm like, what is going on? You can tell her relationship with her mama is rough. Uh, when they sat down and they told everybody why they were there, and they were, doing their tasks, and before the tasks were actually mentioned, they were like, what do you want to say as far as why you feel like we need to be here? And the main concern that a lot of people had on her side is that they didn't really know him like that. And, people felt like they were rushing things. His cousin made a point to say that she has anger issues and she like lashes out in anger. They want to know if they're rushing because a lot of people around them are getting married, and that's why they're trying to rush and be married and do all these things that people do who are in these relationships. One of her aunts said that she has been hearing that people feel as though Whitney is an outcast, but that's not the case because they tend to be and pride themselves on being very open and caring and welcoming to people. And so, that's rubbing her the wrong way because like everybody on her side was like, look, we just want everybody to get along. And everybody, the other people who were just like the younger people, they were just like, we don't know if they're moving too fast. I don't know what's going on here. And she has anger issues. So they end up doing the cha-cha. They're learning to do cha-cha, and everything seems to be going well where he is. They showed what was going on where Whitney was, and there was a lot of tension. And Jordan, his sister, was just like, I don't see the point in us being cool friends or whatever. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with and for my brother, I don't understand why we need to have any type of relationship. And I'm just like, what's all the hostility about? Like, why is it that there is a problem with y'all being cordial and building a bond, a sisterhood? Because unless I just haven't heard of anything else, they could just have a sister bond, even though they're not blood related. And she definitely, Whitney, needs that because it doesn't seem like she really has that great of a support system as far as younger people are concerned, from what I can gather. I don't know if she has siblings, but I don't remember her saying anything about no siblings, so I don't know if she's an only child. She already has a super strained relationship with her mama, so it's just a lot. Y'all, Jordan, who of course is Charles' sister, she has a tough exterior and she was raised by men, military men at that, so she's just coming from the perspective of, I was raised by men, I don't know what y'all talking about, I don't understand the problem. And other people have kind of mentioned that that's what it is when you get her anyway. So it's kind of like she's not trying to come off as standoffish, but it's just what it is because she was raised by men. She doesn't have that soft, calming, welcoming spirit. And I'm like, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case because you're dealing with men. My daddy is very much so a man, but the way that I am personality wise and just, the way I greet people, the way that I am towards people, I get all of that from my daddy. I'm just saying, like my mama is the one that's a firecracker and all that. Like you do not want to try my mama. And I get like I just said, I get a lot of the way that I act from my daddy. Like I tend to be, I try to be nice to people, treat people the way I want to be treated. I try to smile a lot and be genuine when it comes to that. People tend to like me. I don't really have issues with a lot of people. Usually when people have issues with me, it's just because they are mad about somebody talking to me or just existing and not responding to them. And it's like, how are you mad at me because somebody has come to me and they want to associate with me for whatever reason and they just don't want to talk to you? I don't understand. So, and that has mainly happened after I've left home. I didn't really have issues like that back home. And when I moved away, there were people who were just mad for no reason. And I'm like, okay. That's why it's always been strange for other people to find out that there have been people who don't like me because I don't give off that energy. Like, there are people who feed off of my energy and they're just like, I don't know what it is about you. I'm just drawn to you. And I'm like, I'm just being myself. But anyway, y'all, I just need for her mama to understand that there is an issue, a major issue, because in her mind, she feels as though their relationship is great. Her daughter, on the other hand, is like, our relationship is terrible, and for whatever reason, she is under this impression that everything is fine, and everybody else all around them is like, nah, it's not what it is. Y'all, dinner happened. Her mama didn't want to come and sit down and eat. She didn't want to do nothing. She went and got some brown liquor, poured her a glass, and went and sat over in the living room or somewhere while everybody was in the kitchen and had, food had been cooked. The food looked good. I was like, ma'am, I would at least went and grabbed me up a plate. Y'all did y'all see the food? Just saying. I was like, okay then, all of y'all. And then these were like the young people cooking up a storm. I was like, y'all better do that. But I'm like, girl, you ain't even gonna get no food. She gonna try to say I lost my appetite. I don't want to talk about it. And all this other stuff. And like, her daughter was really trying to talk to her. And later on in the episode, because I feel like I'm gonna forget to say it, later on in the episode, Whitney makes a point to say that she feels as though she is always being the mother instead of being the child. And her mama makes everything about her. Y'all, I see it. I see that, and I can't. I don't know how she's dealt with it, y'all. So anyway, we're on day 2. And they are having a one-on-one, finally. Jordan and Whitney. They needed that one-on-one. They had their little breakthrough, and I'm glad, Lord, because I just did not understand. And she was just like, look, I've had a lot to happen to me in my life. And even when they've had the first task, everybody on his side got a chance to see that, she's had these traumas that happen to her. When she lost her father, that was something that really triggered her. And her mother hasn't been around, and she does not even understand why her mama gave her up. Her mother gave her up, and she was given to a grandparent. I don't know if it's the maternal grandmother or the paternal grandmother, but she was raised by her grandparent. And we will get into that. Y'all. So they were going to be having their one-on-one as well. Whitney and her mama. But before I talk about that, like I said, Jordan and Whitney had an amazing one-on-one. And they kind of have come to this mutual agreement that as long as, we both are willing to try. And, I see different things from your perspective. And she made a point to say again that she'd been raised by men. So she doesn't know how to, really go about having friendships with women like that. But she's gonna, she's open to it. Y'all, Tracy allowed us to see a little bit into herself. And y'all know Tracy McMillan is the relationship expert. While Charles and Whitney were talking to her during their little one-on-one session, they were done talking, right? And then she was like, look, I think your mom needs to be brought into this. So at some point, Charles left and the mama was there, and they were in the middle of talking, and Whitney was trying to explain to her how she feels, and her mama was not being receptive because she was like, Mom, like, I don't understand what it is. You keep thinking that our relationship is great when we don't really even have a relationship. It's not great. And so Tracy had to tell her mama, girl, she's not happy. She's not here for this relationship that you think that y'all have. And she actually told us, Tracy McMillan now, I'm trying to make sure y'all understand who I'm talking about. Tracy McMillan said to us that she did not have her mother growing up, and her father was in prison. And she knew that her father loved her, but he wasn't there. She had been bounced around from home to home, and that had to be traumatic, y'all. I was done. I had to rewind and like, wait a minute, what? So, like, a lot of people don't understand when you have been broken and you have gone through certain things, that actually builds you and kind of helps to mold you into the people that you need to be. That's why I know that when I did what I did when I was a social worker, that's why I was so effective, because I have been in these emotional situations before, these very awful situations that a lot of my clients have experienced. I feel like that's why Tracy can relate so well to the people that come in, because she has come from brokenness as well. So yeah, people need to understand that even though it's not pleasant, it's something that, happened, and you can kind of build from it. It's like you have to do what you have to do. She says something about how, you can't change your past. And that's true. Y'all, her mama is trying to act like she's receptive, y'all. And I'm just like, I don't believe you. Girl, I don't believe you. So anyway, y'all, overall, she's just like, look, Mom, I want you to stop being defensive. I want you to stop making everything about you. Her mama was like, well, I want to be a part of the process. I want to be a part of your wedding if you will let me in. So she's looking at her like, well, you were always going to be a part of it. So in my mind, I'm like, what made her think that she wasn't going to be a part of it? Her daughter was like, look, I want you to be a part of the process, but I don't want you to sit up there and complain about everything. Like if you don't like how the food tastes or something, like she just was naming off super small things that she didn't want her mama to do. And I mean, she was like, well, it's doable. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, apparently she does make everything about herself. Y'all, I'm tired. So anyway, he ended up having a task where he had to talk to his folks and explain to them why he's with her and why he sees them together like that. He had to defend himself. Apparently he doesn't really talk like that. Like he's not really open like that emotionally, and he just does not express himself that much. So he had to kind of dig deep. So instead of sitting them down, he felt like he had to do things his way and have it where everybody was doing a task that they all like to do. So everybody that he brought along or invited, they all like playing basketball. So he took them outside, and they were all playing basketball and just taking shots, I guess playing horse or whatever. And he was just like, look, I love her. I want to be with her. We have a lot in common. We all have issues, but we all have to work through things. And, of course, they brought up again the fact that she has anger issues and all of that. And they don't understand why, they rushed. They seem like they rushed to move in together. They seem like they're rushing to get married. And he had to let them know, like, no, we're not rushing. We're not trying to rush. We're not trying to do anything because we see other people around us doing it. It's because we want to do it. So just know that I love her. I really do want to be with her. And just because this is my first relationship, that doesn't mean I'm not ready for this commitment. So hopefully they are ready, y'all, because that's a lot. I mean, like I said earlier, either it's going to go right or it's going to go wrong, despite it being your first relationship. Some people feel like it is the right thing to do. It is the right direction to go in. Other people feel like, okay, here's my first relationship. Let me see how this go. Okay. And then they're done, and then they go on to the next one. They're like, oh, okay. Because he literally has nothing to compare what that experience could be, because he's never been in an experience like that before. So that kind of scares everybody. Y'all, I'm just glad that Whitney and Jordan, his sister, are in a better place. Y'all, the blessing ceremony happened, and like I said earlier, Whitney didn't think she was going to get many blessings. Everybody gave their blessing. It was actually a beautiful moment. So I was like, okay then, y'all, the update is Whitney and Jordan are friends, and they communicate very frequently. And her mama and her got back to the house, and they haven't spoken since the show. Come on now, I'm tired. I am so tired. And it's like, I knew it. I knew it. I hate stuff like that. I hate when people do not have a close relationship with the mother of all people. Her mama brought up the fact that the reason why she wasn't around was because eventually she said it, because at first she was like, oh, well, your father wanted me to give over custody to your grandmama. And I'm like, what? That ain't even making no sense. Like, if it's a child that you wanted, Then what do you mean? Because she has said to her, like, I don't even feel like you wanted me. And she was like, I did want you. And then she was sitting up there talking about, I did raise you. I'm like, girl, how did you raise her when she has clearly told us this whole entire time that her grandmama raised her and you weren't around and she never understood why and she's broken because of it. And literally, she seems to have a lot of anger issues, all rooted in the fact that you haven't been there. But for whatever reason, she's in denial, y'all. I don't understand. I'm tired and it's too much. I just really hope that some kind of way they go to counseling because they haven't even spoken. They have not talked. This is ridiculous to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. I really don't. Anyway, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'll see y'all later on. Bye.